everybody, and welcome. Good afternoon. Much better. My name is Zora Tomova, and I'm interim provost at SUNY Polytechnic Institute. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Fall 2022 Convocation. Let me introduce the platform party. Dr. Todd Lawson, acting president. Dr. Andrew Russell, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Mike Carpenter, Interim Dean of the College of Engineering. Dr. Joanne Joseph, Interim Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Dr. Arthur Luke, Dean of the College of Business. Mark Montgomery, Chief Diversity Officer. Dr. Mark Montgomery, Chief Diversity Officer. Mary Beth Lyons, Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. Jay Fish, President of the Student Government at Utica. Tucker Mogren, SUNY Poly alum, class of 2019, and the convocation speaker. I did a little bit of studying about what is a convocation. By the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is an assembly of persons called together to a meeting, but in a college setting, it is a ceremonial assembly of members of the college or university. The Fall 2022 convocation at SUNY Poly is the opening of the 2022-2023 academic year. We welcome the class of 2026, all of you. But at the same time, we welcome all of the returning students and as well as new members of SUNY Poly family, who are faculty and staff. It is my pleasure at this moment to introduce Dr. Lawson, acting president, who will give some remarks.
So thank you, Dr. Tomova, and let's do that again. I realize we have a combination here of first-year students and a few incoming transfer students and some continuing students as well, but I think the lion's share of you are members of the class of 26. So let's, and I know we've got parents here too, so let's give the class of 26 a round of applause. So good afternoon, everyone. I really do want to thank you for joining us today at SUNY Poly and hope that you've had a good day of move-in and orientation, and I know there's much more planned, not only later this afternoon, but stretching throughout the weekend. And I also want to extend a thanks to those staff and faculty members who are here. Those faculty members are really what make the experience here special, and I think those of you are joining us for the first time, and obviously your first year at SUNY Poly are really in for a treat the next few years. So it's just a pleasure to see so many folks here. So I'm really excited to join you today as we welcome the next chapter of SUNY Poly's history. We're really continuing to advance as an institute in several different ways, and I wanted to highlight a few of those for you. I know that you've probably heard much of this while you were considering Poly and visiting here, but I think there's so many reasons why you should really be proud to be a new member of the Poly family. We do continue to get quite a bit of visibility with national rankings, and one thing you will learn about university administrators and presidents and folks like that is we love to quote rankings, particularly when they're in our favor. If they're not, then maybe we don't talk about it so much, but there's really a very good story to tell here with regard to SUNY Poly, and I think you are going to learn, or you're in the course of learning, what really makes this place special. SUNY Poly ranks number 2 for top public schools in this part of the country, in the top 20 for social mobility, which I think is important in terms of being able to help people achieve their goals and advance their economic status. We are in the top 50 for best value colleges. and number 4 for the best colleges for veterans, which is really important, obviously, in view of all of the service they provide for us. This is all sort of in the U.S. News Regional Universities North category. And we're recognized by other folks, too, for the affordability of what we provide. Yahoo Finance and Go Banking Rates have ranked us the most affordable college in New York State in 2021. I think your parents would be in favor of that on average. College Consensus ranked us number 31 in the nation for best value colleges, and Stacker ranked us in the top 100 for public colleges with the best return on investment. So, you know, all of this is great, but what sort of makes it happen? And how does that sort of matter to you? We really pride ourselves on the quality of partnerships that we're able to make with the communities that we're in, both here in Albany, with the industries that we work with, and with the sort of mobility opportunities we're able to provide students. So just to give a few examples of that, on the industrial side, we are a very close partner with Wolfspeed, which was formerly Cree. Wolfspeed is building a large silicon carbide facility, a manufacturing or fabrication facility for silicon carbide chips, just a couple of miles away here, actually that direction. And Wolfspeed's donated a total of about $3.5 million in support of scholarships for folks like you, and many of you will have the opportunity, if you haven't already, to compete for those scholarships. But they've also supported endowed faculty chairs. So that's an example of a great partnership. Another thing I would sort of point to, and you'll, I think, know this, you've probably seen some of these spaces as you toured through campus, either today or before. When we're going to teach technology, when we're going to teach game design, many of the topics that you all came here to learn about really requires state-of-the-art facilities in which that education could happen, places where you'll learn, where you'll work in the lab, where you'll study, and we need partners to do that. And just to give you a recent example, the Francis A. Wilcox Scholarship and Engineering Wing in Kinsella Hall was recently made possible by a gift of about $1.9 million by the family of Francis Wilcox. And this has also enabled us to go after additional state funds and other resources to improve the facilities that you'll do your work in here. So you're going to start to see this. A lot of you will spend a lot of time in Kinsella. You'll spend a lot of time in Donovan Hall. If you don't know where those are yet, you'll learn soon. But they really are places where you'll spend a lot of your time. And you're going to see spaces under renovation and being modernized in the next few years, and we're really excited about that. And then the last thing, just sort of on the national level, so you've probably, how many of you all have heard about the CHIPS Act? Heard about this? Maybe? Kinda? President Biden signed it into law just a couple of weeks ago. And really the idea here, look where we are, look at the folks that we work with, both here in Albany and Utica. There's a great strength in New York State for semiconductors and manufacture of semiconductors. And so what the CHIPS Act is about is providing money for R&D, for industries to partner with folks like us, and we do that quite a bit in both of our campus locations, to provide new educational opportunities for students, to provide more curricula for people who want to work in those sectors, and then obviously the sort of internship and career opportunities I was talking about before. And so that's something that's important on a national level. And New York is really a player. Our governor, Senator Schumer, folks like this have been on our campuses here talking about this. Thankfully, it came to fruition. And really our goal here is to make sure that that translates into opportunities for you all. So it's an exciting place. And how do you fit in? Many ways. But here at SUNY Poly, students have done everything from pitching business plans for sustainable fresh produce. We're an active participant in the New York Business Plan competition every year. I've already talked about semiconductor companies and the stuff that they're doing with us and our students. And I'm really eager for the next little bit to see how each of you can contribute. There's so many opportunities, about 3,000 of you between both campuses. Most of the students are actually here. The Institute has done very well the last few years in enrolling young people who want to contribute, whether it's nursing, whether it's game design, whether it's psychology, sociology, engineering, nanotechnology. It's really been an exciting place to be, and I'm so excited for all of you. There are actually 57 programs that we offer here at this institute. So I guess the best advice I could give you when you're through being overwhelmed by all the information we're throwing your way in the next little bit here is to take advantages of these opportunities to grow. You know, you came here, I'm sure, all of you, with goals in mind, things that you particularly wanted to accomplish and could see yourself in at SUNY Poly, and that's great. But whether it's in the student life arena, whether it's in the arena maybe of second majors or minors, other opportunities, sports, we're sitting here in our beautiful field house. This is really a place where you can take the advantage of the opportunity not only to grow academically, but to grow as a person. And I think you'll find it to be a welcoming community and an excellent place in which to do that. But you don't have to take my word for it, because what we have arranged today is to have one of our alumni speak to you a little bit. So I'm very proud to introduce Tucker Mogren, who is currently a software engineer who works in the insurance industry, and I'm sure he'll tell you a little bit more about that. He earned his bachelor's degree in computer and information science from SUNY Poly in May of 2019. Since graduating, Tucker has remained very engaged with us. He serves on our Alumni Association committee. In that capacity, he's helped us do a lot of things. He works with fellow alumni. He works with our development office. We have involved him in planning for things like Wildcat Weekend, which will come up here pretty soon, and you've probably already heard about today. We have a day at the races at Saratoga every year for alums, and Tucker's been involved with that. Many other exciting ways to engage. During his time at Poly, and Tucker may tell you a bit about this too, he was a very active member of our community. He started with involvement as a photographer for the yearbook before co-founding a club to plan Relay for Life, an effort that raised $13,000 for that particular cause. He served as the president of the student government at Utica and received the Student Government President of the Year award from the SUNY Student Assembly, which is a statewide award. And he served on numerous SUNY Poly boards and committees. But perhaps most of all, and throughout his academic career, and I'm sure his professional career as well, Tucker was really known on this campus for his consistent integrity. So as I wish you the best for this coming academic year, it's my sincere pleasure to welcome Tucker back to SUNY Poly to share a few words, only a few years after he sat where you sit today. So without further ado, I give you Tucker Mogren.
Uh-oh, my binder might be too big for this podium. All right, thank you, Dr. Larson, for the warm introduction. It's a great time to be on campus, like Dr. Larson said. Last time I was here was in May of 2019 for my undergraduate commencement. It's shocking to me how much this campus has changed in just 3 years, and it's also very exciting to see how it will change in the future. To the class of 2026, it's my distinct honor to join our faculty, staff, and administration in welcoming you to SUNY Poly. It's so excited to be kicking off the academic year at Convocation. Convocation marks an important end to your life, but also it marks the start of a fabulous beginning. 7 years ago, almost to this day, I was in your seat, beginning my first week at SUNY Poly. The rush of excitement, nervousness, and the unknown of what the next 4 years would look like flowed through me. At that time, really the only thing I was certain of was that I was going to be living in Utica. Everything else was up in the air. My major, my social circle, everything. I remember during my first week of classes, I walked into one of my first history class, and I sat down and the professor started to go over the syllabus. As he continued to go over the syllabus, I realized that this class started with a 3, and all my other classes started with a 1, meaning it was a junior level course. So I did what anyone in my position would probably do. I whipped out my laptop, I logged into Banner, I swapped that history class for a much more manageable History 101, American History, Colonies to Reconstruction. But of course, I didn't want to be rude, so I stayed the whole class, knowing internally that I would never be returning. I did consider signing up for the class again my senior year, but alas, I never did. As time went on, everything stabilized. I confirmed my major in computer and information science, and I quickly fell in love with all my classes and professors. All around, I just got into the groove of things. The movement and excitement faded away as the semester progressed and the central New York fall came in, as did winter. Side note, if you didn't bring any snow boots with you, I strongly encourage you to bring some back when you come home from mid-semester break. As I started to feel at home here, I was left with an important question to ask myself. What would my purpose at Poly be? You may be thinking right now, isn't the purpose at SUNY Poly to get a degree? And while that is a purpose, the actual purpose is much deeper. This is an important question to reflect on because it can allow you to set goals around your purpose, making the end result much more achievable, and it also serves as a measure of accountability for yourself. The follow-up question you're probably asking yourself is, what do I mean by purpose? A better way to think of your purpose is as a theme for your path through Poly. I'm sure you've all heard of a theme before, like the theme of a book or a theme of a birthday party. Like a theme, your purpose can serve as a storyline for your time here at Poly. Determining your purpose can sound daunting, and there are important considerations to take when finding your purpose. I encourage you all to think about what you want to achieve at Poly, both academically and socially. Incorporating these two aspects together make sure you have a balanced and successful SUNY Poly experience. When you consider your purpose, it's also important to remember that your purpose is just that. It's yours. You cannot judge your purpose or its progress off your peers. The great thing about a self-defined purpose is it's just that. It's self-defined. It's tailored towards you and may change while you travel down your path through Poly. When it came to defining my own purpose, I knew there were a few things that were important to me that I wanted to incorporate. I knew I wanted to be involved in student life in some capacity, but I wasn't quite sure what that capacity would look like. And I also wanted to continue to grow academically and learn more about my field of study. I, like many of you will probably come across, had a difficult time discovering what my purpose would be. One time, while I was walking to class, crossing the bridge, wandering in my own stupor, it came to me. Everything I was involved with on campus was leading me down one clear and condensed path. Co-founding a club, working with the yearbook, participating in student government, building relationships with my peers, and excelling academically all helped me figure out that my purpose was going to be to leave a mark. It was something that had been staring me right in the face this whole time, but it wasn't clear to me until I took time to personally reflect on what I had accomplished. You see, you don't have to find what your purpose is going to be at SUNY Poly right away. Your purpose will always be there with you, guiding your decisions as you progress through Poly. When the time is right, your purpose will come to you, and you will discover that it was with you the whole time. When I first started at Poly, I didn't know my purpose was going to be to leave a mark, but I was driven in this direction without even knowing it. I always considered that my involvement at SUNY Poly started because of a chance encounter. During my first week at classes, the Wildcat Events Board had a posting for a job opening. I believe it was for a social media coordinator. I applied, but unfortunately I did not get the position. However, fast forward a few days, and I was at an involvement fair where I ran into someone from the Center for Student Involvement who mentioned to me they heard that the yearbook was looking for photographers. I reached out, and I was in. From there, I continued to thrive, rising through the ranks in the yearbook, founding a club to plan Relay for Life on campus, which in our 2 years of events raised over $30,000 for the American Cancer Society. Eventually, right before my senior year, I decided I wanted to do more for my community, and that's when I decided to run for president of the student government at Utica. It wasn't until my last week at Poly that I realized my purpose had come full circle. Without even knowing it, I had been working towards my purpose all these years. Studying in the library, hanging out with friends, going to class, going to events, and participating in student government, all of this helped me leave my mark. Now, I encourage everyone here to take some time over the next few weeks while you're hanging out with your roommates, suite mates, friends, or maybe you just have alone time to reflect on yourselves. You should reflect on what you would like your purpose to be. You might decide to set your purpose today or in a few weeks and go on your merry way. Then, come sophomore year, junior year, or even senior year, you might revisit your purpose and go, things have changed, I have changed, and my environment has changed. And then you decide you need to alter your purpose. And that is okay. You also might go your whole SUNY Poly career without even thinking of a purpose. And then, once you are finally taking a final walk across the bridge from the campus center to the field house for commencement, your purpose finally comes to fruition. That's when you realize everything you had been doing at SUNY Poly since your first year was guiding you towards completing your purpose. Your purpose is there to guide you, to serve as an outline for your path. Sometimes there will be bumps in the road, unexpected twists. You may have a difficult decision to make, get a bad grade, have a roommate conflict, or even miss home. In these times, it's when your purpose can really shine. When things like this happen, you have to sit back and ask yourself, which of these paths forward most clearly aligned with my purpose? The answer could become clear, and if it doesn't, then maybe other things have changed and it's time for you to redefine your purpose. Eventually, your time at SUNY Poly will come to an end when commencement comes around. While at that point your path through Poly will end, another path opens, your path from Poly. This is when you become an alumni and get to use the wonderful knowledge you learned during your tenure at SUNY Poly to guide you throughout your life. You will take your new experiences and you will mold them into a career, a life, and a legacy. I am so excited to hear what you will all accomplish during your time at SUNY Poly, and I know it will be great. To the class of 2026, I welcome you as Wildcats. Your path through Poly is just beginning, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish. We will see you again at commencement when your path from Poly begins, but that is for another day. Thank you, and I now have the distinct honor of introducing the Student Government at Utica President, Jay Fish.
Good job. Thank you. All right, unlike Tucker, I'm a little too short for the podium. So good afternoon, and welcome new students of SUNY Poly. I'm thankful to have this opportunity to be here with you today and welcome in the start of the semester and your class of 2026. As Tucker mentioned, my name is Jay Fish, and I'm the Student Government President here at SUNY Poly. I've spoken to many of you at accepted students days, tours, called saying that you still have steps to complete in your enrollment checklist, and looking around, it looks like I did a pretty good job, so thank you. Or I am going to be your orientation advisor. But today, it marks an important time in your life. Just like everybody else set up here, today is a moment where you start a new chapter, a moment where you can finally be free to discover yourself and who you really are. SUNY Poly is not just a place to continue your education, it's a place to learn, to innovate, and to grow. When I first came to Poly, I didn't see it like that. I, like many of you, saw Poly as just a place to continue my education and to make my parents happy. But as I became familiar with the campus and I became more involved, I saw the interconnectedness of our campus. From the connections to fellow students, faculty, staff, administrators, and even alumni. So I urge each and every one of you to get involved on campus in any way you can and become friends with as many people as possible and to leave a positive and lasting impression not only on this campus but on each other. Thank you for all your time. Good luck on your first day of classes. I can't wait to see you all in class and on campus. And welcome to SUNY Poly. At this time, I would like to welcome up Vice President for Student Affairs, Mary Beth Lyons.
Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. We're going to ask the students to come through and we're going to hand you your pins. So, do you want to start? So if you want to start on the end and just come up, and we're thrilled to give you your SUNY Poly pins. So this will be just a few moments.
Do you need help?
Congratulations. Welcome. Welcome. Congratulations.
That's all right. They're all the same. They're all the same. I understand that.
No. Thank you. You didn't get pens at your company? No. Ah. I wonder when they started. We did it last year. I remember them doing it last year. Gotcha. All right. Did you get to walk up to you guys bonfire with the camera? Yeah. They stopped doing it. Well, so they do it right next to Hilltop. There's still like a little area, but Jen George, she was like, yeah, she's like, we're probably gonna stop that. This was COVID, so like, yeah. Well, it was hot. It was hot last year. It was bad. I remember volunteering. We were just French. It was terrible. I will say that. back Wildcat Weekend next year because it's a little early. Yeah, SUNY USA. Yeah, so I got elected for DGI rep. Yeah, I'm excited. So. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
Thank
not.
you.
No. So that's actually been changed. You can't be an RA. Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know how it was with you, but SUNY USA got really political these past 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, the throne has been dethroned. So.
It's a shame because we used to have such good leadership.
Nope.
And like they don't do awards anymore. So like I assume you were the last person to get like any type of CSA award.
Oh, really? I lost it. The only memory I have of it is my Instagram.
Right. There's a picture of you in our
Thank you.
office. There's a student essay poster here in the conference room. Maybe in a cabinet meeting or something. Yeah. All right. Once again, thank you. This concludes the official convocation program. Please stay seated for additional remark by President Dr. Larson.
So we're going to start a new tradition today. And it's really a great honor. We've been thinking about all summer about how we were going to do this. And given that we have the new bridge, which some of you may have walked across at some point during the day. And so what I would like to do, I would like to invite members of the cabinet, faculty, staff, and our first year students to head over here in a little bit to the new Wildcat Bridge for a ribbon cutting ceremony. It's brand new. They just finished the landscaping and such a matter of weeks ago. Our facilities team's been hard at work getting not just the bridge, but the whole campus ready for you, and it really looks nice. So construction of the new bridge began in spring 2021, and now that it's finished, we want to officially mark its opening with you today. After we cut the ribbon, our first year students are going to cross the bridge. It's kind of a symbolic gesture, if you like, of crossing into the SUNY Poly community as students. So I hope as you cross that bridge, you'll consider the legacy you want to leave. I think Tucker's advice here is well placed, whether that be in academic, student life, athletics, or another area that's important to you. And so what we're going to do, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to ask the students to join me for the ribbon cutting ceremony at this time. The OAs are going to escort you. The platform party, the folks up here will head out that way. The OAs will sort of show you the direction to go. You'll follow us. We're going to do the ribbon cutting out there by the bridge, and then we're going to cross over the bridge and have a nice barbecue dinner afterwards. So I think with that, we're concluded here, and we'll head on over and we'll do the ribbon cutting. Thank you for being here.